folks, how you doing? It's been a little while between videos, but some things are on hold and there's not much I can do about it. So I thought I'd make a little video on what's something that's never ever been done on YouTube before. I'll make a twig stove. That's never been done, has it? Hang on. Holy crap, there's a gazillion of them. Oh well. Can't have too many do-it-yourself twig stoves on YouTube now, can you? So I'm going to do my own. Now I've got a collection of tins here that I just went to the local thrift store. And first of all, the Australia's favourite chocolate drink Milo was mine. I ate that. And now I've got an empty tin. I'm not actually going to use this tin in this iteration of a twig stove, but I may use the lid, so we'll see how we go. Anyway, I'll put that aside for the moment. I do have the classic Ikea utensil strainer, which many people have made hobo stoves out of these. I'm only showing this because I might actually make a hobo stove out of this, but it's not getting included in this iteration. That word again. So I'll put that aside. But what I do have are these 3 cans. Now, at the thrift store was this great little billy. It's just a classic standard billy. So that could be the cook pot, the water boil pot, whatever. And so what I want to make must, of course, fit inside this. And so I have these other 2 tins. This one is interesting. It's got a raised lid there, and it's got a recessed bottom. Obviously that would be the opening for my stove, and I was going to cut this can down, which has a outward lip, which if forced through that, of course I'd have to, you know, cut out that hole there. But that lip, at the moment, upside down, it sits on there beautifully, so I'm assuming once I flip it over, I hope it'll do the same thing. And of course I'll have to cut this down in length because it's a bit longer than this one at the moment. I'll put a little grate style of bottom on that to so the ashes will fall through. Now the ashes will fall through the bottom of this, of course, which isn't yet open. However, I like the idea of this being contained, but it would be hard to get all of the excess ashes that fall into the bottom of this out through this by shaking it out. Now the lid works perfectly, of course, on top, but if you flip it over and look at the bottom, bring that in a bit, it also nestles beautifully tight in that recessed area, and it's actually, if I push it in all the way, it's really hard to get out. So that could be a ash and coal collector. I'll put some kind of lift or handle on that to be able to pull it off better, rather than try and do that. And of course I'll have some legs that'll give it a little bit of height. But I think what I'll get here is a contained drum that I could sit on the ground and won't scorch the earth or whatever surface I put it on. That will come in the testing, of course. And then of course all I have to do is pull that off and shake it out. So we'll get to work and have a go at all this and see if it all comes together. I haven't yet decided on what will be my pot stand. That'll be the last step, so I'll get to that eventually. Try to think of something funky. Once that's finished and this thing's, you know, popped inside, then I'll be able to pop it in my pot. And it is a bit tall, but the lid has quite a wide rim. It'll still lock in. Pop it into a drawstring bag and there you have it. So I'm going to go ahead and join the ranks of the gazillions of homemade twig stoves on YouTube. Let's get into it. I'm going to start by cutting out the bottom, and I want to leave a lip in there so that the lid has something to sit on, as in the ashtray. So I'll just use a smaller tin here, get it roughly in the middle and trace around it with a green Sharpie. I don't know where the black one is. Good enough. The only thing I can think of at the moment to cut this out is first drill a starting hole, and the finest jigsaw blade that I have. Before I cut that out, I have strength right now in the base of this, and I need to cut my air intake holes all the way around here. So I'm going to have to evenly space my holes. Generally most people do them 1 inch apart. I'll do the same thing. I think I need a dressmaker's ruler, dressmaker's measuring tape. And the other thing is, because of this recessed bottom, I've got to drill my air intake holes above that, otherwise I'm going to hit the side of that thing, which is no good. Okay, so I've got my dressmaker's tape. I have traced a line around the bottom, which is well above the indentation in the end here. And by the time I drill the holes, it should be just above inside that raised bit inside there. Got a start point here. 2 inches too far. I think 1 inch is too close. 1 1/4 inch. I'm going to drill around about a 14mm hole for each of these. I'll start with 1 1/4, I think. That is 1 1/4, isn't it? I think. There's 1 1/2. Oops, that's 1 1/2. Don't want that one. This imperial system. It's confusing. Plenty of air intake. Let's get to drilling. I'm going to use the wonderful step bit drill. Wonderful tool. Okay, there's my air intake holes all done. I do have one, the first one I went to 14mm. Decided it was too big, so I stepped it down 2mm to 12mm holes. The metal is not as strong as it could be. It's pretty much made a nice factory, I don't know if you can see it at all, but it's a little bit indented at every hole, which is not an issue. Alright, next step will be jigsaw cutting out this area here. Well, that was easy. It was a brand new, very fine jigsaw blade. Pretty much cut it like butter. There we have our cutout, retaining a little bit of a lip inside here. So all I've got to do now is probably clean these edges up a little bit. There's the ashtray, and that's going to pop into the bottom there with a little handle that you'll go pop, shake it out. I know I'm not doing anything new here, folks, and I'm taking all of my instructions from the plethora of videos out there on YouTube of all the people who have come before me. But building one is new for me. I've never done that before. Alright, next step will be clean up these edges a bit, I think. I then have to drill my secondary burn holes for the inner chamber, and of course cut that out, cut it to length, and at the moment it's not going to fit too easily into that hole, so I have to try to fan out this. These were the two closest matching tins as far as their holes are concerned. Let's move on. Well folks, I've decided that this is too big. The circumference is too wide and I don't want to cut off this lip. However, I have a lot of camping gear and have a lot of camp cooking gear, and I've got plenty of these enamel mugs. So I've decided to sacrifice one, and it fits perfectly in there. It's a very, very snug fit, and so all I've got to do is really force it in there. But before I do that, and it's got a nice big lip that's going to sit on this here, and I highly doubt that you'll be able to get that out pretty easily at all. So before I jam it in there, I have to put some new holes in it. Put holes in this one. So I've got to come down and put some holes all the way around, just like I did the other one. And because it's a cup with a base, I don't need to put any kind of mesh down the bottom to hold the fuel. I'll just drill the hell out of this, the bottom of this, and have a heap of holes. All the ash and the small coals will fall down to the bottom of this one with its ashtray. That's why I need a handle on the ashtray, because once it's in there it's hard to get out. And I can just shake everything out. Boom. Alright, so it's on to drilling all the holes in this. And this one, well, we'll get rid of it. And there we go. One holy former enamel camp mug. All holes. We had enamel paint flying everywhere. I wore my safety goggles. Alright, so now all we have to do is ram that down into there. Let's see how I go. Now, is there anything else I need to do before I get this totally stuck in there? Everything's cleaned up here. I've got all my holes. Well, I can't think of a damn thing. So, I'm going to naturally flare this opening out as I force this down. Ooh. It's going, it's going. I think I need just a little tap. I need a hammer. That's what I need. What about just the back of my trusty hatchet? Well, tapping it down with the axe or the hammer pushed the inner lip slightly down all the way around, and it's resulted in it being easily enough to pull out. I would have preferred it to not be able to pull out, but it's still quite stiff, and you know, it's not falling out, so no, you've got to yank on it to pull it out. That's alright, it's in there, but it's getting late. I need to go and relax, so I'll get back to it in the morning. So it's another day. I'm back here with the stove. Now I've decided that once I had rammed the cup into here, and that I can pull it out quite easily, I didn't really need to cut the bottom of this out, because I can just pull it out, shake everything out, pop it back in, and it's good to go. So rather than have a scorched earth or scorched surface situation, I'm going to take the old Milo tin lid and I'm going to re-cover up this hole. All I have to do is pop that in there, and I'm just going to do a series of rivets around there, and that'll hold that in place, and re-enclose the outer chamber, because once that's in there I can just empty both things out easily enough. So I'm going to get that done now. Let's hope I don't have to undo that for some future unknown reason. Like everything, I make it up as I go, even though I've got a million YouTube videos to follow. Okay, well, I've riveted, had to do a couple here, stuff that one up. Riveted the lid of this tin into the base. That's resealed the outer container now. So now I'm going to move on to a pot holder for the top. I had a massive clean out here not long ago, and I threw out so much stuff that anyone would consider junk that I probably would have repurposed, and I can't find almost anything. So I went and raided the kitchen cupboards and just found this stainless steel with a silicone lid little storage container that I have never used. So I'm going to sacrifice it. I've traced a line around there. I'm going to get rid of the top, and this is slightly wider than my recess for sitting it, so by the time I cut cut a section out so that I can feed sticks into while it's cooking, I should be able to just cinch it together a little bit, and it should be a snug fit in there. Well, that's not too bad. It's a good firm fit in the rim. That at the top there. It's not going anywhere, I can even pick it up. I did just round the edges just to make it look like I bought one. Well, that is a really good firm fit into the rim of the top. I think I've got plenty of holes for airflow. As I say, it sits sturdy on the bench top. I'm pretty sure it'd be nice and firm on the ground, or whatever surface you have. But let's face it, if you're going to use it on any kind of timber or something like that, you probably want to put, raise it a little bit somehow, or put a bit of metal down or something to sit it on. I don't think it needs legs of any kind. And if I did put legs on it, I'd have to have some kind of fold-away legs that wouldn't add any depth to it, because at the moment, number one, I can take the pot stand off and get it nicely started up there, snug around the base of the can for storage. I don't have to pull out this other than shaking it out and cleaning it. Bring in the billy, drop it in. Alright, I think that it's time to burn this thing. As they say, moment of truth. It's overused, that phrase. Let's see if the damn thing works or not. Okay, well, first of all, it's windy. Real world conditions. So as you can see, I've got the little wood stove sitting in my little my outdoor fire area, and I've got the pot stand on, and there's the billy. So I've got 2 cups of water. I don't know whether to boil 2 cups or 1 cup. I'm going to boil 2 cups. There we go. I've got dry leaves that I can crush up and throw in there first. Oops. Little sticks. Slightly bigger sticks. I'll just mix them all together, throw them in there. And then I've got some massive logs for later if I need them. There's no point being fancy, I'm just going to use the everyday kitchen lighter. It's very windy, the wind is literally swirling around, it's all coming from here. So let's just go for it and see what happens. Alright guys, well, it is that windy. The wind's swirling around in here. I could have gone to a less windy spot, but no, this is what it's like when you're out camping. I am going to cheat though, just to get this going. I'm going to get a little fire lighter, actually get it going. I'll shove this little thing right down in the middle of it all. It's burning in there, we'll come back when it's well and truly alight. Can't see any secondary burning going on in the internal holes of the firebox yet. I think it might be time to put the billy on. So we'll put that on there. And now we'll set the timer. Stopwatch, start. My little feed hole for extra timber is not huge, so I only want to throw little things in there just to keep it going. Now of course there's a lot of smoke swirling around. They're supposed to be smokeless, these gasifier wood burners. I've probably done something completely wrong. Tiny little bubbles starting to appear in the water. We're at 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Of course, I imagine some of the smoke would be the surfaces of the tins burning off as well. I think that's what it is. There's a lot of smoke. Can't be just from the burning wood. 7 minutes, almost 20 seconds, and we don't have a boil. Truth be known, I probably should have waited until it was well alight. It was only half alight when I put the billy on. But we're now at 8 minutes and 15 seconds. And it's warm. Well, I'm calling that a total failure. It's 10 minutes and the water is not boiled. 2 cups. That was an out and out failure. I finally got the water boiling, obviously, but I stopped the clock at 20 minutes. Basically, this fire just kept going out. There was so much wind it just blew it down so quick. I definitely got some gasification, or whatever you call it, out of those internal holes. Secondary burn, I guess they call it. But it was a big failure, I have to say. Far too windy for a start. I should try this in a more controlled setting. No wind. But I have a lot of coals in there now. So much wood has gone in there. Not exactly sure where I went wrong. It'd be good if anyone could tell me. What did I do wrong? Now, who in their right mind would put up a video of a total failure? But I think I'll let this burn down and I'll get rid of it all. Clean it out. Definitely it's had a burn off of any paint, or not paint, but you know, surfaces of the metals. And then I'll see if I can redeem myself and do it again in not very windy circumstances. Alrighty, I've doubled the holes in my pot stand. Slightly smaller this time, 9mm instead of 10mm, but it's double now. So I've got a firelighter inside loaded with sticks. I've got another 2 cups of water. It's just one step at a time, really. See if the simple act of doubling my holes in the pot stand works. I guess we'll find out. Very warm out here. I don't want to get sunburnt. I'm a fair-skinned person. That's burning pretty well at the moment. Let's see if we snuff it a bit by putting the billy on at 12:14. It's not snuffing the fire in any way. That's pretty good. One mistake I'm possibly making is that I don't get a really big fire going in there first to create a lot of coals, maybe. It's a lot of smoke, but it's burning well as well. Oh, we got bubbles. Got a very hot pot and we got bubbles. So I did whack it on at 12:14. It's now 12:19. The water's making a sound. You do have to keep adding sticks though. Now, if anyone would like to let me know in the comments, if you care to comment, what exactly I am doing wrong. I have no idea what I'm doing, to be honest. I'm just following what people did on YouTube and expecting it to work. It's getting very close to a boil. Burning better now, a little less smoke. So close to a boil, come on. Oh, and the fire's going out. Gotta load it up again. That was so close to a boil. I'm at the 10-minute mark. That's boiling. There we have a rolling boil. Okay, well that took 10 minutes to boil. I had to keep stoking the fire, of course. I guess practice makes perfect. Now I want to touch the concrete underneath, so I'm just going to push this out of the way. Pretty warm. Mind you, this slab is in the sun, but it's fine otherwise. But right, ooh, where that was is pretty warm. So I could do with some legs, but then again, just keep it on dirt and you'll be fine. So yeah, please, comment. Tell me what I did wrong. Tell me what I can improve. Do I need even more holes down the bottom for more air intake? Quite possibly. There's plenty of holes in the base of the inner chamber. I didn't think to notice whether there was any gasification going on with these holes near the top of the inner chamber. Let me know. Okay, the little boy and his billy is back for a third attempt at boiling 2 cups of water in under 10 minutes. There's my billy. I now have a new pot stand. You can see it wrapped around the stove. It's on there nice and firmly. Let's put the billy here. There's the stove. So I had this old wire basket that I cut up reluctantly. This will give maximum airflow up the top. I've drilled some holes in it, so I just need to find the holes. Where are they? There we go. Pop them into the holes. And there's the pot stand. It does sit, I would say, I had a look at the old one, ½ an inch higher. Can we go lower with that? Yes, we can. So it does sit ½ an inch higher, which does allow me to put longer sticks in, of course. Anyway, let's get to it. First, there's the 2 cups. That's 1 pint if you're in England, 500 ml or 16 ounces. There you go, I just covered all of the measurements around the world. Alright, there's a 2-person boil. Take that off. Got my coffee ready. This is very dry tinder material that I have for my fireplace in my caravan there. Now just to get this really going, I'm going to light 2 fire lighters. Now once again, the breeze has stopped right now, but it does float in every now and then. Right there from the east, it's been a week of easterlies. Not sure if you can see it, but I do have this on a little laminated table that I made up, threw some legs on. But I'm sitting on a raised steel platform, also on a sheet of metal. I'll come back to you when that's well and truly alight, before I put the pot on. Okay, well on cue that wind picked up. It's still a bit breezy. I've had to just put a chair barrier here to try to slow it down a little bit. But this is burning extremely well, so I'm going to put the pot on. I'm going to get the stopwatch ready. Alright, billy on. Start, stopwatch. Now we wait. Will I have a better time of it this time? We shall see. Ah, it's dying down already. I think you've got to constantly feed this thing, which I guess is common sense. The beauty of this large opening is I can just, I've got plenty of room to pop these sticks in, so I can just pop something across the top here if I wanted to. Bubbles forming already. Flames just blurt out everywhere. We're getting more bubbles. Just got to keep that fire going. The other good thing about this, I can just crisscross logs everywhere, provided they don't drop out burning. 4 minutes 46. If it wasn't for this breeze, I do have a camp windshield, which has the little pins that you cinch into the ground to stop it from blowing away. So each time I've tried this, I've been fully surrounded by wind. I cannot stop this breeze. Now we're burning. 5 minutes and 25 seconds. Come on, we've got to beat the last time. Oh, let's get that one in there. It's kind of like, what's that game? What is that game? It starts with K, doesn't it? Kapow? No. What is it? Kaching? No, that's money. 717. Come on, you. Maybe I should just boil 1 cup. Oops. Get off me. I really burnt myself. I don't think we're going to break 10 minutes. That is a real shame. And there goes 10 minutes. I can hear the water though. So technically, it's worse than last time. Of course, I should have a look at the videos again. See whether they were boiling 1 cup or 2 cups. I'm sure 1 cup would have boiled by now. And that is a boil. Oh, just on 12 minutes, we have a boil. So there we go. We had a rolling boil at 12 minutes for 2 cups, which was longer than the second time. Okay, I'm showing 12:55 at the moment, but I kept talking, I didn't stop it, so it was 12 minutes. Alright, I'll just quickly pour my coffee. Do you say cheers with coffee? Or just alcohol? What do you say with coffee? Alright, well, you tell me. Is 2 cups of water in 12 minutes a reasonable amount of time to boil on a twig stove? Again, I have no idea if I didn't even bother to look then whether or not there was secondary burning going on with those other holes. But the thing did burn twigs and it did boil water. You do have to keep feeding it to have a continual flame, because it will die down pretty quick, especially if the wind... Now it's not windy at all. Anyway, out in the field I would have my windshield anyway, so that'd help protect it a lot and probably make the boil time a lot quicker. Feel free to comment, folks. I don't get many comments actually, and I'm still just a very young channel with only a few subscribers, but you know, I think I'm up to 567 now. If anyone's wondering what my long-term goal is, my long-term goal is to end up on a property which I am not financially ready yet to buy. I could buy a very, very cheap property right now, but it won't be the forever property that I want. So once I do, I'm going to start from scratch and build the fantasy homestead that's in my head that I've had for decades. And so I'll basically be gearing towards a homesteading, off-grid building style channel. However, I still love to get out and about and do my things, do my kayak trips and camping trips. Although once I've got that property, it'll feel like I'm camping all the time. And you know, when it comes to filming something, if I just think there's an idea in it, then I'll film it. And then sometimes I go out and say, bugger the cameras, I'm not taking them. I'm just going to enjoy the great outdoors. And I do that. But that's a long-term goal. It'd be good if it was short-term, but we live in a crazy world, and we don't know exactly what's going on in this world. Although we do. And for the most part, I don't deem it as rosy. But I ain't gonna get political, because I promised myself that this channel will not be political. Oh, it's burning down nicely. There's some really good coals in there. I'll give you a look. Can you see? Well, I think that will do for this video. Multiple failures, minimal successes, lessons learned. I will take this out with me for the next camp and see how it goes. Definitely with my windshield, or I'll crack under pressure and go and buy one off the shelf. Alright folks, I'll leave you with that. As always, stay well. It's a crazy world out there. I'll catch you next time.